I'm Stefanie Lugo, and this is the Market Authority Show. Hey, I'm Stefanie Lugo, ex-corporate 9-to-5er turned top-producing realtor and coach. Along the way to growing a top 1% attraction-based real estate business, I became obsessed with all things marketing, systems, scaling, and social. But it wasn't always easy, and I remember what it felt like to lack the confidence, direction, and know-how to make it happen. So I created the Market Authority Show to share simple, actionable, step-by-step help and inspiration to build your dream real estate business with help from timeless principles and today's cutting-edge strategies. Here, we always keep it real and never shy away from the topics that you are dying to know more about but can never get a straight answer to. Clients, growth, family balance, failure, and how to navigate an ever-changing real estate industry are just a few of the topics that we're going to tackle together. Whether you're just starting out on your real estate journey or you've been around for a while, we've got a few tricks up our sleeve that you'll want in on, and all are welcome here. So let's dive in. Let's talk about perfectionism. We just got off of goal setting season, and maybe you've put the finishing touches on your business plan for the year, or maybe you're still fine-tuning the list of things that you want to accomplish in 2023, right? And maybe if you're like many agents, you put the list of goals together this year, and right away, that little voice in the back of your head started to chirp. Who am I to achieve these things? I can't get started without all the right pieces in place. I don't have the resources to be a successful real estate agent. I'm barely hanging on by a thread. How am I going to push through and achieve my goals this year? And inevitably, once we begin telling ourselves this story, your brain will begin to look for evidence to prove you right. So when this happens, what do? We come up with a million reasons why we can't start moving towards big things, and it's just better to wait until things are just perfect. So you, my friend, if you've gone through this sequence of events, may have just fallen victim to the perfectionism mindset. You're not alone, and it's something that I help real estate agents work through pretty often. But what I'd like to do is spend a few minutes today sharing a few ideas, 3 truths about perfection that might help shake the illusion that there is any reason good enough to keep you from taking action. Because I'll tell you right now, letting perfection get in the way of progress is never a good move. So I want to share 3 truths about perfectionism and how you can take action today towards your goals. Brené Brown says that perfectionism hampers success. And in fact, it's often the path to depression, anxiety, addiction, and life paralysis. But you might think, how can just holding myself to the highest standard possible be a problem? Well, there's a difference between healthy striving and hiding behind perfectionism. Brené explains that perfectionism can act like a shield that will protect you when you're afraid of putting yourself out there. But often it actually becomes the thing that keeps people from taking flight. And I see this all the time, especially in those agents who I coach. They come to me looking for the best strategy, the best tools, the resources, when really the thing that was preventing them from finding traction in their business all along was just simply not making the decision to take a step forward. It's crazy. And it's difficult to put yourself in a position to be accountable to what you say you're going to do. I get that. It's scary. The moment you decide to do something, the opportunity to fail presents itself. If you bring others in, the stakes are even higher, right? Because then you have an audience to either the victory or, of course, the failure. The risk of failure becomes greater, especially when you share your dreams with others. And so it can be convenient to wait for things to be just right. But that leads us to our first truth, which is perfectionism can be a form of procrastination. And I like to think of it as toxic procrastination. That takes some of the glitter out of trying to be perfect, right? It's a lot easier to hide behind impossibly high standards than to put yourself out there before you feel ready. But I would ask, what good are standards if you never create anything in the first place? The next truth that I want to share is that choosing to ditch perfectionism is actually a practical choice. Throwing up your hands and saying good enough might feel egregiously sloppy to some, but for me, that's always been my true north. You put something out there, and if it breaks, well, at least you know exactly where it needs to be fixed, is kind of what I've always thought. And yeah, sometimes it creates problems for me. I've had to learn to take a step back and do a little extra planning and forethought before I really take a leap on something new. But ultimately, choosing to take action, even when I'm missing information or resources, has always turned out to be a good thing for me. They say that the best time to buy a house is 5 years ago, and the second best time is now. Have you heard that? I think that concept applies to a lot of life choices and moves in business. When my husband and I left our corporate 9-to-5s to start a real estate business, I knew nothing about the real estate industry, like less than nothing. In fact, I truly found the whole business distasteful. My family was a victim of the crash in '08, and I remember watching my mom at her roll-top desk in her bedroom on the phone with the bank, trying to figure out what to do about an adjustable rate mortgage that had ballooned beyond their means. Shortly after, we lost the house, and we had to move across the country to pick up the pieces closer to family. It took my mom over a decade to recover from that financially, and it left a heavy impression on me. I was in high school at the time. I was very impressionable. But fast forward to 2014, Bryce wanted to start a real estate business, and he wanted me to join him. So we put in our 2 weeks to our corporate 9-to-5s, and we took the plunge. We quit. We started our business. With no experience or knowledge of what it takes to be successful in real estate, we just straight up flipped the bird to corporate America and figured that we could do better on our own. And looking back, this was wildly ignorant, and I don't know that I would suggest anybody going this route. Those early years were super rough as we navigated building our business. Many crying on the bathroom floor moments, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know. But it forced us to get practical and focus on each next action that we needed to take. We didn't really have we didn't have a choice anymore. We just had to take action. It turns out that all of those tiny actions snowballed and led us to where we are today. So remember, ditching perfectionism can be as simple as choosing to be practical and just focus on the next step. Now, the third truth when I think about perfectionism is that when nothing changes, nothing changes. And I feel like once I realized this, the second half of my life began. Like, how many times have you agonized over a decision? It doesn't have to be a big one. Maybe over which CRM you should choose for your business, or whether you should invest in coaching or buy mailers for a 1,500 door neighborhood. You might be so afraid of making the wrong choice, right? Or waiting on the perfect circumstances to show up that you just don't make a decision at all. But here's the thing. By not making a decision, you're still making a decision. You're choosing to wait. Being stuck in that in-between state where things don't feel perfect and you just can't give yourself permission to move forward is a really scary place to be. And I would argue it's even riskier than making the wrong decision at all. It feels like the safe move in the moment to lie in wait, but looking back, it's clear that indecision comes with high costs too. Choosing to stay in place in wait of a better day causes you to stagnate. It costs you opportunities and delays in achieving your goals. And I know people who have been stuck in this in-between dreamland for years, always convinced that the perfect circumstances will become clear soon. And you might know these people too. Many real estate agents have worked with that client, that client who has been waiting to buy until the market was timed perfectly. And meanwhile, years have passed and they've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential equity by simply not making a move sooner. Real estate agents who are stuck in perfectionism that stalls their progress are truthfully no different, in my opinion. And this might feel a bit like tough love, and I get it. The thing is, if you are listening to this show, the real estate industry needs people like you. Real estate agents who want to be more than a door opener or just somebody to put a sign in the yard, right? Whose service goes beyond the transaction, who don't want to be stuck waiting for their next commission or only ever as good as their last deal, right? Like that sucks. That's not what we get into this business for. So if you were waiting for permission or for the perfect circumstances, you got it. You are exactly where you were meant to be, and you have everything that you need to get started. The rest, I promise, can be figured out along the way. And I'm happy to help where I can. So if you're looking to make success inevitable and finally tap into all of the potential that you know you have, then I would love to chat. This is exactly what we do in the Market Authority Academy. And when you join, you'll get on our 6-month plan to completely transform your business with weekly coaching and a proprietary business system that is proven to help real estate agents attract dream clients, become more organized, and have a consistent pipeline for growth. But it all starts with making a decision, right? So look back at your goals this year. And I would challenge you to think, what is possible in 2023? What can I achieve? And what do I need in order to make that dream a reality? And then go make it happen. If you need resources, if you need coaching, if you need support, if you need accountability, if you need strategy, if you just need a little bit of a kick in the pants, go find it. Whether you're getting it from me or somebody else, I want this to be the year that you bet on yourself and give yourself permission to go all out, even if the circumstances don't feel completely perfect in this moment. When we talk about this in the Market Authority Academy, I always like to hone in on what we call the prototype mindset. And the idea is, if you look at the iPhone, right now I'm holding in my hand, and I think it's an iPhone 14 Pro Max, maybe. I don't know. I feel like every new iteration of the iPhone comes with a new identifier, like a new tag. But I have the latest iPhone. I got it earlier this year, and it's way freaking cool. I mean, it has these like giant lenses for these multiple cameras in this device. It's beautiful. It works well, as long as I'm in a place with good service or Wi-Fi. and it's really nice. It's a great phone. But it all started with the iPhone 1. And if Apple had waited until they had all of the information, all of the technology and advancements that they have today, I would never be holding an iPhone 14. They had to start with the iPhone 1, right? They had to start with the prototype, the first version. And then what did they do? Every single year, they revamped it. And even some years, it seemed like the new iPhones that came out didn't have anything crazy, any big new bells and whistles, but it was just a little better. It had stronger battery life, right? It had a slightly better camera, even if it wasn't totally perceivable to the human eye. It had a better processor. It had more memory. It had maybe a couple more features. They didn't completely revamp the iPhone every single year, but they made sure it was just a little better than it was the year before. That is the prototype mindset. And I promise you that will beat any vision of perfectionism that you might be holding on to every single day. And so I challenge you, what's next? Look at your goal list, make that decision, take the action, and remember, you are exactly where you are meant to be. You have everything that you need to start now. I'm rooting you on every step of the way. I hope you have an amazing year ahead. Till next time, keep on crushing it. Thanks for tuning in. A high five on taking some time to invest in yourself and in your business. If you're looking for more, head over to the show notes to find all the details and links to resources mentioned in this episode of the Market Authority Show. And if you're looking to find a new crew of like-minded pros to ask questions and bounce ideas off of, head over to themarketauthorityacademy.com to join my exclusive community on Facebook, check out my latest free masterclass and tons of bonus content, or apply to my mentorship program to learn how I can help you triple your business this year. Until next time, keep on crushing it.